I am made in the image and likeness of God, the infinite divine creator.
As such, I am a creative being.
I am here to intentionally create.
I expand in abundance, success, and love every day.
As I inspire those around me to do the same.
Thank you. We have been exploring what these words mean, what they really mean in our lives during the month of October. The theme for this month has been intentional creation, and I've offered the idea that we are the happiest. More specifically, I've said that our joy meters, I love joy meters, are the highest when we are in the process of and making progress in intentional creation. Today we're going to take a look at a phrase that was coined by Hildegard von Bingen, who is a 16th century, or was a 16th century Christian mystic. She talked about the green growing edge of our becoming. The green growing edge of our becoming, referring to how we are all meant to grow in our awareness, in our inner knowing, and in our expression as expanding beings. How we are meant to walk right up to that edge of comfort and to know that the next iteration of our expression as divine beings is on the other side of it. How many of you feel in some area of your life that you are right now standing at the green growing edge of becoming? Anybody? Okay, all right. So that's great, fabulous. We are in the right place. We are always in the right place at the right time. Isn't that true? I think we are standing there as a community. I think, as our community, we are standing there. And I certainly know that I am standing there personally as well. If you recall, I said last week that the talk was really a part one of a two-parter, and that today would be part two. Last week, I said that there is a lot of risk in stepping out on the edge. And since risk can be so darn scary, we create our safe problems. Safe problems are our distractions, our excuses we come up with so that our attention is diverted and we don't have to walk to the edge. Anybody remember how we talked about that? As I said today, we would talk about the specific fears that we are trying to avoid with our safe problems. And that I would tell you what the mother of all fears is. If we look at our human, the mother.
Your mother is the mother of all fears.
No, your mother is not the mother of all fears. If we look at our human emotions and psyche, we will find that there are 9 core fears. Has anybody studied any of this? Okay. Now, there's a reason it's important to realize that they are in operation and to having a plan for working with them. Because I think when we can realize what it is that's popping into our heads, we can easily neutralize it. It's good to have that plan because otherwise they do have a way of sending us to our safe problems. We might not even know what happened. We will just run. It's just a habit. Now, that actually won't be the case after today and all that we've explored this month, because we now have a whole new level of awareness. And that's the thing about being aware, isn't it? The more aware you become, you can't go back. You can't go, no, I don't really want to know that. Once you turn it on, it's on. Okay, so we've got that new level of awareness. We all have all of these fears to some degree, but we usually have one that's a primary one that comes up on a regular basis, like maybe every 10 minutes or so. As I say them, and as you see them displayed here, just give some loving, compassionate, and tender thought to what might be yours. Ask yourself, what fear is driving my bus? Okay, so, I put that to,
I used to drive the bus.
Driving the bus.
okay,
years ago.
I put you after my talk and I forgot that I had another slide there. All right, the first fear is fear of being judged as wrong, bad, or imperfect.
I don't have that anymore.
Number 2, fear of being worthless, unworthy, or inconsequential.
Not anymore.
Fear of failure, being incompetent or unable to do. Fear of being abandoned or ignored. Fear of overwhelm and intrusion. Fear of missing out or being limited. Fear of being blamed. fear of showing weakness and vulnerability, and fear of being unlovable, shut out, or inharmonious. And this includes the fear of conflict. As I said, we all have all of these fears to some degree. I mean, it may be almost zero, but to some degree. But usually we have one that kind of, touches us, and it's a primary one. So now here's the deal. Probably as long as we're in this human experience and coming up to our green growing edge of becoming, our primary fear will be present. But the question is, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to always let it drive the bus, or are we going to take the wheel and put it in its proper seat? Are we going to master the fear, or let the fear be our master? So take a look at all of them again and identify your primary one, or one that just kind of makes you twinge a little bit. Does everybody have one that kind of makes you twinge a little bit? Okay. What I'd like to do now is I want everyone to say it out loud all at the same time. At the same time, so you're going to be drowned out by everybody, so don't worry about it. We're going to do this on the count of one. So I'm going to go 3, 2, 1. Fear of being unlovable.
Bad or imperfect.
Okay. So thank you for your honesty and authenticity, and dare I say, vulnerability. Vulnerability. So I said that there are 9, but there really is one more. One more that is the mother of all fears, and that actually stands at the base, underneath each and every one of these. But before I share it with you, I want to give you the steps to support you in mastering fear. Everybody ready for this? Okay. The first step to mastering fear is to practice non-resistance. To practice non-resistance. Suppressing fear is resistance. Denying fear is resistance. Spiritually bypassing fear is resistance. And what do I mean by that? Spiritually bypassing is immediately going to, it's all good, it's all God. And that's a way of not feeling the fear, isn't it? I love the quote from Ingrid Matthau in an article in Psychology Today online. She wrote, "Spiritual bypass is a spiritual practice in the service of repression, usually because we cannot tolerate what we are feeling or think we shouldn't be experiencing what we are feeling." That's a whole nother talk. Wanting your fear just to go away is resistance. Trying to make your fear go away is resistance. Judging fear as wrong or bad is resistance. And as New Thought pioneer Florence Scovel Shinn, who is one of several people's favorites here, she wrote in The Game of Life and How to Play It, "So long as we resist a situation, we will have it with us." Also, there's another one, what you resist persists. What you resist persists. So rather than resist it, practice non-resistance. Just practice it, meaning don't try to suppress it, allow yourself to feel it. Don't deny its existence, acknowledge it and feel it. Definitely don't spiritually bypass it, feel it. Don't want it or try to make it go away, just be with it, just feel it. And please, 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 do not judge it or you as wrong or bad. Just feel it. So, do you see the theme to non-resistance there? Allow it to just be and to just feel it. So, for just a moment right now, breathe into it. Give it some space and just feel it. Give it some love. Give it some love. I know that in a moment, a little extra grace is required here. So just take that moment right now and just feel the love into it. Do that right now with the primary fear that you identified just a moment ago. And then from this sweet space of non-resistance, we take the next step, which is forgiveness. The next step is forgiveness. Our second step to mastering fear is forgiveness. Say to yourself right now, I forgive myself for having the fear that I am feeling right now.
Forgive myself for having the
Fear that I am feeling right now. To the best of your ability, feel that statement in your body. Forgiving yourself for having the fear is an imperative step to mastery. Now, before I speak to the third step of mastering fear, I want to share with you the mother of all fears, and no, it's not your mother. The one that sits at the core of all of these 9 fears. And I want to share this now because the third step is what we must do to master this main fear. After practicing non-resistance and forgiveness. Ernest Holmes speaks of it in The Science of Mind on page 156, and I want to take it just a little bit deeper. He said, someone has said that the entire world is suffering from one big fear, the fear that God will not answer our prayers. It's a big one. But it's a bit more than that. It's the fear that if I step out into my green growing edge of becoming, if I take that risk to create something amazing, if I jump off the ledge in my parachute, remember last week's video of Steve Harvey video? And if I fail, if I crash and burn, then it will mean that I am disconnected from Source. Wow. I am not one with the One, and that is a terrifying thought. We think everyone else out there is connected, but we might not be. And if I try and fail, then it's confirmed that I am not and I cannot risk getting that confirmation. So breathe. 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 Because I want there to be space in you to hear this. You are eternally connected to Source. One with the One. You cannot not be. Turn to your neighbor and say, you are eternally connected to Source.
You are eternally connected to Source.
You are one with the One.
You are one with the One.
You cannot not be.
You cannot not be.
Now turn within and say to yourself, I am eternally connected to Source.
I am eternally connected to Source.
I am one with the One.
I am one with the One.
I cannot not be.
I cannot not be.
Okay, so that takes us to our third step to mastering all fear, not just getting rid of it, but mastering it. And a book was written with this title, The Third Step to Mastering Fear. Who knows the book title? Feel the fear and do it anyway. There you go. And I will add, remembering that you've got the universe behind you, in you, through you, and as you. Mike Dooley's really good at reminding us that with his notes from the universe, isn't he? And if it feels like you get a little bruised along the way, that things don't go quite as you think that they should, know that you still have the universe behind you, through you, and as you. So pick yourself up as many times as you need to because you are always, always connected to Source. God is always there, always ready, always willing to support you 100%, even if it doesn't look like it in the moment. Pick yourself up and allow yourself a divine do-over. I love that, a divine do-over. I get a divine do-over on this. Isn't that's a great phrase. I love that. So give yourself one, remembering what Ernest Holmes writes in It's Up to You. He says, we must concede that God is for us. This done, we have at once overcome the fear by seeing that there is nothing to be afraid of. Let us meet the world constructively as a gloriously becoming thing, knowing that the kingdom of God inhabits every soul. No one has ever tried and failed in a conscious cooperation with the universe itself. No one has ever failed in a conscious cooperation with the universe itself. Today and every day moving forward, let us no longer be slaves to fear. Let us release the chains of fear and gain mastery so that we live at the green growing edge of our becoming. We spread our wings and we soar into the ever-expanding creativity, stretching and growing in our expression of the divine and living in an undercurrent of deep and abiding joy. Sound good? All right, then so it is.